who's actually going to get the most out of a hand-pressed espresso maker, and who would be better off putting their money toward a traditional pump espresso machine. If you're trying to decide whether a portable lever-operated brewer fits into a cramped kitchen, a tiny office break room, or even a travel bag, that's the question I'm going to wrestle with today. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The stakes feel surprisingly high because a bad espresso machine can wreck your morning routine, waste beans, and leave you with a pricey piece of metal that just sits on the counter. Let's start with the core dilemma most people face. You want cafe-quality espresso without the noise, electricity, or footprint of a full-size machine. The UWYTGF manual espresso press promises exactly that: a stainless steel, 16-bar lever that you pull to force hot water through finely ground coffee. For people who value simplicity, love the ritual of hand pressing, and are comfortable with a little manual effort, it can be a rewarding experience. For anyone who expects a push-button solution or already has a high-end machine, the learning curve and the need to manually maintain temperature may feel like a step backwards. I'm not going to start by spewing out spec sheets. Instead, I'll walk through 3 realistic scenarios that illustrate where this device shines and where it falls short. First, imagine you're a digital nomad who works from cafes, co-working spaces, or even hotel rooms. Your luggage already includes a laptop, a charger, and maybe a lightweight travel mug. Adding a 2-kilogram espresso press that doesn't need power can feel almost indulgent. The stainless steel body is solid enough to survive the occasional bump, and the built-in pressure gauge gives you visual feedback that's surprisingly satisfying. You heat water in a kettle, grind your beans to espresso fineness, and pull the lever. The lever's long rod provides a smooth motion, letting you apply steady pressure without straining your wrist. In practice, that means a decent shot in 10 minutes actually, less if you preheat the press. The real benefit here is that you can brew a fresh espresso wherever you find a reliable kettle, no need for a plug, and you get the tactile feel of a true lever machine without the bulk. Second, think about a small office break room where the manager wants to impress staff with a coffee perk, but the budget only stretches to a few $100s. The anti-slip base on this unit keeps it steady on a wooden countertop, preventing spills when you're pulling the lever after a busy morning. Because the press is detachable, cleaning is straightforward: you pull the lever, rinse the chamber, and reassemble. For an office that doesn't have a dedicated barista, the manual nature actually becomes a conversation starter. Colleagues gather around, watch the pressure gauge climb, and learn a little about espresso extraction. The downside is that you still need a separate kettle or hot water source, and you have to be mindful of the 16-bar pressure limit. If your beans are over-roasted or your grind is too coarse, you'll end up with a weak shot, and you'll quickly learn that a little tweaking is required to get the right pressure profile. That learning curve can be a turn-off for a group that just wants a quick caffeine fix without fuss. Third, let's bring it home for the everyday user who enjoys a ritual but lives in a modest apartment with limited counter space. The press's compact footprint, roughly the size of a small kitchen appliance, means it can sit next to a toaster without crowding the layout. The thermostyle design keeps the water heat stable for a few minutes, so you can pull a couple of shots in succession without reheating each time. Real-world testers have mentioned that the stainless steel stays cool to the touch on the exterior, reducing the risk of burns while you're handling the lever. However, the very same metal can become a heat conductor if the press sits on a thin countertop. You'll notice the base warm up after several pulls. Another practical snag is the pressure gauge sensitivity. It's accurate enough for most home users, but it doesn't calibrate automatically. If you consistently pull the lever too fast, you might overshoot the 16-bar mark, which can lead to a bitter extraction. So a little finesse is required, and that's where some people feel they're doing a science experiment instead of just making coffee. Now, who should buy this? The sweet spot is anyone who enjoys the manual coffee-making process and isn't looking for an all-electric, one-touch solution. That includes coffee hobbyists who want to understand extraction pressure, travelers who need a portable option, and small offices that want a low-maintenance perk. If you already own a reliable pump espresso machine, or if you need a high-volume solution for a cafe, you'll likely be disappointed. The manual lever can't match the speed or consistency of a commercial grinder and pump combo, so you'll end up spending more time troubleshooting variations than you'd like. Practical strengths of the UWYTGF press are its sturdy 304 stainless steel construction, which resists corrosion and feels premium, and the